Hey, welcome back to the Club Cool podcast. I am your host, Barrett Dudley, and I am recording here in the Washed Media Studios. I'm solo today for the first half of the podcast. Phil is off, busy with his mini irons in the fire, slanging houses, buying wine, all sorts of good stuff. But we have a great episode today. In the back half of this podcast, we have this morning's Halloween costume segment, which I recorded with the hosts of Circling Back. We had Dylan, Will, Dave, and myself talking about the best costumes that you can pull off for 2020. It is a very popular segment every year, so I look forward to all of you guys checking that out. I think that we were able to offer, some really good options for getting kits off, and also for just being timely and relevant in this year. So I do hope that everybody is able to, to find some type of social distancing backyard or trick-or-treating party that you can attend, because if we need fun and costumes in any year, it's this one. And it also might be the last fun evening that you get ever, because I think shortly after Halloween, the election, happens, and really all bets are off for the rest of November. To start off, though, on our Instagram account, @ClubCoolPod, last week we took a bunch of questions in a Q&A session. I've been responding to those there on Instagram. And then we like to take a bunch of the others and turn them into podcast segments here. Phil and I discussed some of them last week. Today, I've got producer Randy over here on the other microphone, and he is going to read me a few of them that we weren't able to quite get to. That's going to be today's first segment. And without further ado, let's kick those things off, Randy.
All right. Hello, Barrett.
Hey.
All right. Question 1. What are your thoughts on wearing clothing that has a geographical location even though you've never been there?
Yeah, this is a tough one, and it's one that I find myself dealing with every once in a while, and I think that it's also this one is kind of correlates to the whole question about whether you can wear Masters gear if you've never been to the Masters. It's the same type of deal. My stance on the Masters gear is that it's totally kind of boils down to what you're okay with. When I see somebody wearing Masters stuff, I think that that's an implication that you have been. So for me, I'm not going to wear anything from the Masters until I actually get the chance to go to the Masters and cop a bunch of the gear. That's for me. Now, if you have a family member go, or your best friend goes, and you want some authentic gear, you want to have that in your repertoire, you're a big golf fan, you watch the Masters every year, I certainly do not hold it against you. So I kind of apply that same line of thinking to the geographic location ones. For me personally, I don't really have an interest in wearing... I do have the interest in wearing graphic tees especially, that represent a place. There's a really awesome collection from the National Parks website. They're doing a bunch of cool tie-dye. It's it's Yellowstone and Big Bend, and they've put together really, really great looking tees based on some of our national parks. But I really want to go to Yellowstone. So for me to kind of jump the gun there and grab Yellowstone gear just because I'm a fan of Yellowstone Park and I like the scenery that I think is there, it's just kind of, I don't know, it's kind of at odds with what you're saying when you wear stuff with that geographic location. Now, if you've been somewhere and then you see gear that you like, that's a different story. If I'd been to Yellowstone and then down the road I see this Yellowstone t-shirt that I like, even if it's, from the National Parks website and I'm sitting at home in Austin, Texas, then I have no problem with grabbing it. So I've got a t-shirt that says Lake Tahoe on it and has a Native American chief graphic that I love, and that's from the brand Junk Food, I think. But I've been to Lake Tahoe, so I feel good about wearing the shirt. What else we got, Randy?
All right, so this next one's a little more of a command at first. Talk about colors.
Oh, okay.
Are we supposed to stick to any in particular each season?
Okay, so I did kind of hit this one a little bit on the Grom. colors are the easiest way with style and fashion to kind of like put out a vibe based on the season. So one of the other questions that we had here was like, what's the best way to kind of make it feel like fall, even if you're in a really warm climate? And I think the answer to that is color. If you kind of keep your wardrobe, once we roll in here to October, November, December, you don't have to be in burly coats and chunky sweaters to kind of give off fall vibes. If you're wearing warmer colors and a lot of earth tones and blacks and navies and maroons and wines and burnt orange and all these colors that either kind of like share something in common with the colors that nature brings for the season, or that just kind of like give off these kind of cozier elements and vibes in the first place. Now, having said that, things like earth tones and olives are multi-seasonal. You don't have to keep them hidden away in the spring or the summer. And there are also no color rules that anybody has to live by or deal with anymore at this point either. So, one of the age-old kind of like antiquated fashion rules is that you're not supposed to wear white after Labor Day. And that one is totally thrown out the window, even more so if you do live in the South or in warm climate. You can wear white whenever you want. There's a lot of great knitwear and warmer stuff that looks good in white. All white jackets look cool. All white get-ups with either beige or cream or white colored denim and white tops. It can read summery depending on kind of your texture and the weight of the clothing, but there's no reason that you have to put away white for fall or winter anyway, or either way, I should say. But definitely, when we roll into the fall months, I think what that really means the most is that you can put away your pastels and your neons, your baby blues, your seersucker, any of the stuff that really kind of screams summer. It's more so about just kind of like putting that towards the back of the closet rather than kind of like than having to wear specific colors for fall. So it's that removal of the super summery, vacation-y, tropical stuff. And then on top of that, if you want to lean into some of those colors that we associate with fall, then even better. Next up, Randy.
So put away your chartreuse spring break bro tanks.
The chartreuse spring break bro tanks can definitely go back in a drawer for the next few months.
All right. What are the best accessible brands from GQ's recent top 50 list?
Okay. So we talked a little bit about this in the Club Cool Discord. There's actually quite a bit of chatter about it. If you're not involved with the Discord yet, go follow us on patreon.com/clubcool. And you do not have to become a paying patron if you wish to do so. It's only $2 a month. You won't even notice it. You'll get something cool out of it. I can tell you that. I'm not totally sure what it's going to be every month, but we usually put together a little bit of an editorial and kind of like talk about our favorite stuff on the internet. Great way to support the podcast as well. And even if you just follow us on Patreon, you'll be able to get this Discord link where it's just like a little chat room, Slack type deal where we talk about stuff like this. So what GQ did just recently, it's probably in one of their recent print editions, but it's obviously online as well. They put together what they called the quality list. And it says this: originality, craftsmanship, sustainability, value. These are the 50 fashion brands that embody a modern idea of quality in 2020 and are worthy of putting on your back. So they go on to kind of talk about how in 2020 we are kind of more mindful of the waste that the fashion industry can create. People like the secondhand market has never been hotter. I think there's this emphasis on buying less, but buying higher quality goods. And that's kind of what this list was supposed to speak to, is brands that are essentially worth the investment. and that you can shop from and expect to have things that last a really long time. Now, as you can guess, GQ, they still need to sell advertisements online. They still need to put big glossy print ads in the magazine. They still need really expensive, awesome clothes for all of their photo shoots. They still have relationships with the giant conglomerates and corporations like Kering and LVMH, which own a majority of the high fashion brands. And so as a result, out of 50, there were nearly 20 brands on here that I would describe as high fashion. Essentially, your classic brands that are doing their runway shows, that are based out of Italy or Paris, and that these are the storefronts that you're going to find in the high end malls and walking down Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills, right? So I'm talking, I can just kind of scroll through this list and name them off here: Ferragamo, Dolce & Gabbana, Saint Laurent, Gucci, Zegna, Tom Ford, Missoni, Prada, Rick Owens, Celine, Hermes, Bottega Veneta, let's see, Louis Vuitton, Tom Brown, Brunello Cucinelli, Dior, Raf Simons, Armani, Loewe. So like they gave a lot of lip service to brands that I'm not totally sure belong here, other than for the fact that the garments are really expensive and you can usually count on quality from them, but not all the time. And so for me, I'm kind of just wiping those off the board, because more than anything, they felt like it felt like they needed to include those brands to maintain important relationships. So was there anything that is accessible and affordable on this list? There were a couple. We can start with Patagonia, obviously. Patagonia, awesome foundation for a wardrobe, especially if you're an outdoor guy. They have found an incredible kind of place in the industry where they are activists, they're environmentalists, they are a performance brand. They make a lot of my ski and snowboard gear is Patagonia. They literally make stuff that you can do ice climbing in and mountaineering. And then they make just go-to summer staples like Patagonia baggies. They make great T-shirts. They make your fall go-to fleeces like the Retro X and the Snap Tee. So there is a lot to love about Patagonia, and it is, comparatively, of course, very affordable. But even in the broader sense, it's for the price you are absolutely getting high quality garms, as they say. The next one on here is Levi's. So I think Levi's is there are some issues with Levi's. Levi's is doing a lot of mass production all over the world. They're certainly, I am sure, still making garments in places like Bangladesh, where the kind of the working environment is still questionable. They also have, we're talking multi-tiers here, a lot of diffusion labels with Levi's Made and Crafted and Levi's Vintage and even Levi's Premium, which is carried in a shop like Stag Provisions here in Austin. But in general, I do understand why Levi's belongs on this list. We talk about denim all the time on this podcast. It's very much something that people think about often, and whether they're looking for new fits or whether they're looking to upgrade their wardrobe in general. And Levi's is, for the price point, almost always included on a list of brands that I send people to for affordable denim. Levi's has ended up kind of like right on the cusp of modernity as well, because with this kind of new, baggier approach, kind of an obsession with an anti-fit in denim, which, and when I say that, I just mean denim that's not really hugging you in any way, any parts of your body. Some of their classic styles like 501s and 505s have become like almost an ideal. A lot of people hunt for vintage versions of these, and if you go thrifting, whether you're hitting up your local Buffalo Exchange or your Goodwill, that's kind of what you're looking for, right? It's like old ass pairs of Levi's 501s that suddenly have the exact kind of perfect vintage fit that you're looking for. Go check out Levi's though. They a lot like J. Crew. They send out a lot of discount codes, And the rest of their line, honestly, I mean, they do some cool camp collars. They've got good hoodies. They've got good T-shirts. So first and foremost, the denim is something to think about. But no matter what you're looking for, Levi's is not a bad place to look. Moving on, Ralph Lauren, tried and true. And, it's one of those things that I think Ralph Lauren always has something stylish to offer, even if what Ralph Lauren specializes in is not the most of the moment, right? So Ralph Lauren kind of leads with preppy staples, which are not always on the cusp of fashion. But no matter what, it's a great place for things like sweaters. Ralph Lauren does great pants, great denim. Not to mention, if you go look around on their website, there's always stuff that does feel very, very forward and very fashionable, whether that's from, one of their higher end lines like Double RL or Purple Label, or whether they're kind of like mixing in some Southwestern heritage to the main line as well. Great sales, end of season sales at Ralph Lauren, and kind of a contemporary price point, but still typically lower than stuff like Rag & Bone or Acne Studios. What else is on here? Those are kind of the three that I think stood out to me the most. Noah is a brand that we've talked about here, but it's not it's. I love the purpose. I love the mission of Noah in the same way that I like what Patagonia is doing, but I would say accessible for stuff like t-shirts and hats. You get into knitwear and outerwear, and we are talking a little bit higher of a price point. But Noah is another great brand that they included and that we can follow along with. And that's my speech. That's what I got for GQ's top 50. Randy, what else we have here on the listener question list?
We got, what are some fall items that a broke 25-year-old can afford?
Okay. Perfect segue, because we just talked about stuff like Levi's and Ralph Lauren and Patagonia. All good options. And Patagonia is where I'll start. I put a Patagonia snap tee on my fall clothing item Mount Rushmore. And, I think the lightweight one is right around $100, maybe a little bit more. Not necessarily cheap, but for an item that you can wear essentially every day, your cost per wear on something like a snap tee is going to be super, super low. The other place that I'll go, workwear, very hot again. All of the hottest pants of the season are like this work style of pant. Whether it's like a carpenter jean or like a double knee, which has like the extra, paneling that, looks like it's designed to kind of like have your knees in the dirt, doing work, building out a kitchen, whatever it is. So Carhartt, mainline Carhartt is very, very inexpensive. And I would go look at something like it's just a classic Carhartt. I want to say it's, I don't think it's called an Eisenhower jacket, but basically what you should look up is the Kanye Met Gala jacket. It is a very straightforward collared, zippered black jacket that I think is $40 on Amazon and looks dope as hell. As far as like fall outerwear goes, if you have one jacket, it would be a good one because it's so versatile. It's it's kind of it's perfect in its understatedness and the fact that it's a collared black jacket, and you can turn that into a streetwear piece, or you can turn that into a workwear piece, or you can turn that into something totally contemporary and different, kind of like Kanye did when he wore it to the Met Gala. So that's a great item as well. I will also tell you to go back about a month, check out our podcast that we did where we covered a big Esquire list about all of the best, most affordable brands out there. It includes everything from like Everlane and Uniqlo to COS and Gap and J. Crew. And we kind of hit on why we like a bunch of those different brands. But just to speak specifically for fall items, another thing that I'm big on for fall is the cashmere sweater. And a lot of these more accessible brands, specifically Uniqlo Everlane, J. Crew, and I think Gap now too, just off the top of my head, are all offering like essentially accessible cashmere programs. So while you're not going to get like the burliest, thickest, softest, most long-lasting cashmere sweater from those guys, you can get something that feels really good and looks really nice for nominally $100. And again, like a snap tee, a dark, neutral, solid colored cashmere crew is a perfect fall item that you could literally wear every day if you wanted to. So that's kind of where I'd start, but then definitely go back, check out that podcast, check out those places that we mentioned there. There's a lot of good stuff out there to be had on a budget. You just have to do a little bit more ticking. Randy?
All right, and the last one, which this one hits home. When would you approve of wearing deck or boat shoes, and when are they verboten?
Okay, all right. The deck shoe, the boat shoe. A lot like Ralph Lauren here. The boat shoe or a Ray-Ban Wayfarer, right? Like this is an all-American staple that never really disappears or goes away. Prep and the prep look is something that kind of ebbs and flows and rises to the top and is what everybody wants to look like, and then kind of settles back down. Now there is a group of guys, nominally older white dudes, that have some type of like, they're either country club guys or boat guys or water guys or golf guys, and we're all picturing the same thing, right? Khaki shorts and like an oversized Hawaiian or a tucked in dry fit, and that guy, there's a decent chance that he has boat shoes on. And so I think when you think about your classic kind of brown leather Sperry topsider, you just have to know that when you put that shoe on, there are going to be some connotations associated with it, especially in those periods of time where the prep thing and the boat shoe is not like the hottest thing going. Now I would say that we're in one of those moments where the boat shoe is more appropriate on a boat or around water than it is as a true style move. But if you go pull up Mr. Porter, right? Like, we got all sorts of boat shoes on there. Where Fear of God just did their collaboration with Xenia. They have some suede boat shoes, the little tassel ties. Mr. Porter's carrying a Sperry Authentic. You've got your brands, your true Northeastern brands like Quaddy or Yucatan, which are actually doing like made in Maine, made in the U.S., kind of hand-sewn cobbler type stuff. And so we're certainly at a higher price point there for the higher quality and made in the U.S. and you have the artisanal thing going there, but they make really handsome stuff that can fit into a contemporary kind of East Coast leaning preppy vibe. So I don't think that the boat shoe is really verboten, as it were, at all. But depending on how you style it, you can certainly end up looking like an old dude, a guy that sails a lot, a dude that works on a yacht, a country club guy, a frat star, like all these things that we kind of associate and connotate the boat shoe with. And so it's really just about kind of having that in mind as you get dressed and either being comfortable with one of those looks or picking something else if that's not necessarily what you want to look like. One more thing that I'll throw out here just to kind of add to this conversation, as far as the fashion people goes, there is a spin on a boat shoe from Timberland. Not really a spin. It's another classic. It's the Timberland Authentic 3-Eye lug sole, and it is it's essentially a beefed up boat shoe. It's got a chunky, thicker sole and an extra eyelet compared to the authentic Sperry. So it's a little bit burlier, a little bit more appropriate for cooler weather. And brands like Aimé Leon d'Or and 18 East are utilizing this shoe a lot in photo shoots right now. So if you kind of want to drift, if you love the boat shoe look, but you want to drift it into this territory of this little bit more oversized kind of capital Visfum 18 East Americana meets Japan type look, that's a really easy place an easy shoe to kind of slide into from your Sperry Authentic. Did I answer your question, Randy? I'm kidding. It's not yours. It wasn't yours.
I think I know when the perfect time to wear the boat shoe is.
Yes.
In your front yard at the Darty, trying to get your frat on.
Yeah.
You just put your favorite vintage basketball jersey on, maybe even a Toon Squad jersey.
Okay.
The Topsiders on, the
Yeah.
Wayfarers.
What about the chartreuse bro tank?
Depends. Yeah, either or. You just slam those beers.
Now, in this look that you're describing, are you going like straight like classic brown leather, or are you mixing it up and doing like two tones and like the cotton ones and like, you know, the kind of the different variations that are out there?
Honestly, what's frattier? It's probably leather, but I mean, it's been a while. I don't even know if like frat kids even wear that stuff anymore. I think it's more sneakers now.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Like, it's been a long time since I was truly on campus looking around at what the college kids and the fraternity guys were wearing in general. But as I was thinking about this question and thinking about like for me now, I'm always going to associate those with college, right? That was a go-to. But you make a great point. Mm-hmm. I actually think that even the college kids and the frat kings out there, I think they're probably wearing like more sneakers now than boat shoes.
I think they're doing more of the Gen X, like, fraternity guys were sneakers. Then us millennials were the Topsiders.
We're the boat shoe guys.
Gen Z is going back with, like, the long socks and doing the sneakers.
Yeah. I think that's probably accurate. I think that was our last one on the list, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being the proctor there, for curating and helping me with those questions today. Once again, thanks to everybody that is following along on Instagram. We actually, if you're listening to this right now, you probably still have a few hours left to go and enter our Instagram giveaway, which we're doing in collaboration with Uniform, the kind of elevated basics brand, where we had Pat, the creator of that brand, on a couple weeks ago to talk about his clothing line and talk about the future of it and talk about kind of fashion and style in general. It was a really great episode. It's gotten a lot of love. So there's an Instagram giveaway. You can enter to win a $100 gift card. Treat yourself to some of those badass tees that he's out there in LA making for us. So once again, thanks for following along, submitting these questions. And we're going to take a quick break here to hear from a sponsor. And then when we come back, we'll jump right into my conversation with the guys from Circling Back about this year's best, hottest, most stylish costumes. All right. This week's podcast is brought to you by Bombas. Bombas makes the most comfortable socks in the history of feet. You know we're big Bombas guys here on this podcast. Phil's always in Bombas. If he were here, he'd tell you that himself. Bombas has literally rethought every little detail of the socks we wear to make them way more comfortable. I wear them every day, pretty much, unless I'm in flip-flops, right? Even then, sometimes I'm tempted to put the Bombas on. And they're perfect. The compression that they give you is awesome. They got rid of that little nasty toe line, so you never worrying about that interfering or making it feel like you have a rock in your foot. But these socks, they do more than look good and feel good and keep your feet perfectly cozy. They help give back to the most vulnerable members of our community. Because for every pair of socks you purchase, Bombas donates a pair to someone in need. The generosity of Bombas customers has allowed them to donate over 34 million pairs of socks and counting through their nationwide network of 3,000 giving partners. And the impact is more powerful than ever. To those experiencing homelessness, these socks represent the dignity of putting on clean clothes, a small comfort that's especially important right now. Give a pair when you buy a pair and get 20% off your first purchase at bombas.com/cool. That's BOMBAS.com/cool for 20% off your first purchase. Bombas.com/cool. Every time I hit the site, I actually need some new socks right now. There's new stuff. There's stuff for everything. Performance, casual, comfort, wool, winter. I mean, low cut, no shows. If you have sock needs, Bombas has you covered, and I can't wait to get some more in. Once again, bombas.com/cool. /cool. Give a pair when you buy a pair and get that 20% off. All right, I'm back, and I will tee us up here. Earlier today, I got to sit down with the guys at Circling Back once again, and this is one of the most popular segments of the year. I think in 2019, this was one of our most listened to episodes when I had Dave and Will on. This time, I went on Circling Back and kind of gave my pitches for what you should be for Halloween this year, and I kind of covered a variety of like whether you want to look cool, whether you want to be creative, whether you want to be very relevant and of the moment and kind of capture something from TV or film. And we'll cue it up here. But Randy, you got something to add before we launch in?
Yes, I got the greatest costume that I think the Club Cool fan base will really enjoy, and this is for any year.
Okay.
One of the guys I went out with last year, Shouts Hunter, I know he's a fan. He did this, and it's the biggest mail-in costume there is, but it is like people loved it at the bar, and it really is the best because it's very cheap, and it allows you to get a fit off.
Okay.
And all it is a coat hanger, a wire coat hanger, and a green cardboard, like green poster board. And all you do is you make a little diamond above your head, and you're a sim. So you can rock any outfit that you want, get a fit off, and then you just have that diamond, and people love it. It's the biggest mail-in, but it is amazing.
Yeah. Okay. And then you just get to flex in whatever you want.
Exactly.
Yeah. Are people out there still playing The Sims?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like
I feel like they are.
I
Comes
think
up every now and then.
it's just like a childhood though thing too that everyone will be like, "Oh wait, you're a sim!" And like when
Yeah,
they click,
yeah.
they're like, "That's amazing." It's like, yeah, but really, it's just like costs like $3 to do, and now I just get to look dope.
Yeah. That's perfect. If your main goal is to just get your kid off, there you go. Coat hanger, green cardboard, diamond, and you're a sim.
Yep.
Boom. There it is. Here's the rest of our conversation from earlier today.
Barrett, you're here to talk Halloween.
Ready for a little Club Cool segment?
Mm-hmm.
This was a look, man. This is a recurring thing that I get requests for every year. Let's talk about Halloween costumes. What are the good Halloween costumes this year? Some people just want to like be the most current, want to have the best, most on point costume. Other people are like looking for ways to kind of get their subtle flexes in. They want to look good while in these costumes.
Sure.
Dave and Will, you guys joined me on Club Cool last year for this. It was, I think we did like 1.1, 1.2 million downloads on that episode.
It was a big one.
It was a big one.
It was podcast week.
Dylan, I know you weren't able to make it, so let me get your temperature on Halloween costumes. Are you
Okay.
is this something that you go in for?
I typically don't dress up.
Yeah.
But I am going to this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got your costume in the bag already?
I don't have it in the bag.
Okay.
I know what I'm gonna do, but it's not. I haven't gotten the stuff for it yet.
All right. Speaking of Halloween costumes, I was talking to Parks out
Yeah.
there last week, and I think they don't make his favorite dinosaur, the mosasaur, right? That's not the one.
Are they not making that?
They don't make it
Mosasaurus?
the mosasaurus. They don't make it a costume. So
is that his actual favorite dinosaur? The Mosasaurus?
It's one of them. Yeah.
It's kind of okay.
The Mosasaurus. Yeah.
But he's also he's also into some of the Avengers, and I was trying to pitch him on this idea of like combining dinosaur and superhero costumes to become his own Mosasaurus superhero costume. So
Wow.
you know,
That would be super tight.
I was trying to blow his brain with that one.
He doesn't know this yet, but I believe his grandmother is making him a dinosaur costume.
I guess we have to edit this out since he listens to every episode.
Yeah. Which will be tight. Yeah, I'm going to do something along the same lines. I'm going to do something dinosaur themed.
That'll be
Or
good.
Jurassic Park themed, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you need to go as the dude for like Dern's.
Dr. Grant?
Yeah,
We'll see about it.
just get the full khaki.
We'll see about it. I don't have to shave everything, though. So I have to...
I'll help.
He'll be
You
a
work on the
bearded-
quads, you're gonna
bearded
pull
doctor.
that look.
Yeah, you need to hit the leg press hard.
No, that's not Dr. Grant.
Oh,
He
it's the
still
other
had
guy?
good. He had decent legs though.
I
The other
don't
dude,
even know if you
clever
see his
girl
legs.
guy.
Yeah, be the
Clever
other
girl
dude.
guy's got some... He's stacked.
That's the
You're right.
costume.
Be the other dude.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so y'all ready for the for some like the? I like to do costumes pretty frequently on the TV and film side.
Mhm.
You know, that's usually a go-to for me.
Can I ask a question before
Yeah,
we start?
yeah, please do.
Does anyone have a Halloween costume that they're planning on doing yet?
So here's the thing: for we're old. The Halloween parties are few and far between.
Yeah,
at
you
this
got to
point,
have one main costume.
right. Like it's you know, we'll be lucky to like for one person to be like, yeah, got the backyard set up, let's do it this year. So I don't even, but I feel like for the younger kids, where there's a will, there's a way. They're gonna find places to dress up and get these costumes off.
The talk in my neighborhood is, since it's on a Saturday night, everybody just kind of hanging out in driveways, just kind of music, drinking, having the candy down at the sidewalk, while you just hang out and talk to the neighbors.
Yeah.
Which we'll probably do that unless we have like I don't know, maybe the news will throw something.
I'm just hoping there's some trick or treating this year. I have a 5-year-old. You know.
Yeah.
I think there will be. That's like Dave said. I feel like the talk is to just kind of like like pretty much everybody will just have the candy out essentially, and maybe you're hanging out there with your 6 feet of distance. Maybe you're not.
That'd be cool.
I think your neighborhood will. I mean, just driving through there like a couple
There are
weeks
kids
ago,
everywhere, man.
already got a ton of Halloween decorations up. A lot of kids.
Real quick, one more thing. Have y'all seen all the hubbub about this 12-foot skeleton at Home Depot?
Oh, we talked about it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So just my quick anecdote here is that I saw that thing in Home Depot probably late September, and I was like, man, that is so tight.
$300.
$300 though. I swear, if it had been $100, I just would have packed it up and been like, throw it in the truck.
It's so cool. The first picture we saw of it went viral on Twitter.
Uh-huh.
It was like a trick angle. Like it looked much bigger than it looked like it was 25 feet.
Okay,
it
so
looked-
I was walking around telling people that it was 25 feet.
Yeah,
Even after
that's
seeing
what
it
it
in the
looked
store, I thought it was 25 feet tall.
Okay.
It's only 12, but
It's
then
expensive for
then you think about 12 feet, and that's like double the size of your fence, basically.
Yeah.
So it's pretty huge. Anyway, like I went back a few days later, and it was gone, and then like it kind of took over, and it's like the runaway hit of the season.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised they're not on eBay for $1,000, but I don't know, maybe they are.
They might be.
Yeah, but very, very cool Halloween decoration. If you
Oh, I know. I kind of regret not getting one.
If you had $300 to throw it out,
I guess it's not too late, but
If that's like my only decoration, I should have done that.
You know what?
Storage. Where is the other piece of that? Where the hell are you putting that thing?
I don't know.
we're keeping it here if I if I happen to get one.
Post it up on the
Yeah.
sectional out there
Legs crossed on the couch out there.
for Twitch purposes. Yeah.
All right. So you ready to jump into some costume ideas that I have for y'all? All right.
Hit me.
Here's number one. This is going to be the run. I expect this to be the kind of the biggest costume of the year. There will be a lot of them. It will really boil down to who can do it best, which is why it's near the top of my list as well. It's Tiger King.
Yes.
Joe Exotic.
Sure.
I just fear it's gonna be overdone. A lot of people are gonna be tired.
It will be, which is why you have to. This is the costume for people like me that want to nail every single detail of a costume.
True.
If you're thorough with these things, if you have to have like borderline exact replications
With, like,
of what these people look like,
name tattooed on his
the
neck and all
tattoos,
that.
the chokers, the right shirt, the jeans, the exotic boots,
Chokers.
the perfect wig to get this mullet off.
You can't half-ass a Tiger King.
You cannot
costume.
have no.
I'm currently Googling, can you rent tigers in Texas?
So this is one for people that like to go all out. Like Dylan said, it's going to be super popular. But so you have to nail it if you do it.
Dave, with a little more growth down here and
Yeah.
the right wig, you could absolutely crush a Joe Exotic
Yeah.
costume this year.
So my thought was, when I was watching it, specifically his music video about Carol Baskin, where he is in the he's got the black cowboy hat and the Western priest.
Oh,
wear.
yeah.
I was like, that would be the version I would go as
And
if
put-
I was doing Joe Exotic.
You almost Sassy Wolf is like one octave
Yeah,
away from
I think that's-
Joe Exotic.
That's very fair.
So
I forgot he was a priest.
I think I had a good Joe Exotic for a minute. It's been obviously 7 months since that was like a thing.
that was at the very
Quarantine
beginning.
week
Yeah.
1.
So
That was-
this costume also lends itself to couples costumes.
With the tiger or Carol Baskin?
A lot of options here. Tiger is a great one. Carol Baskin's even better. If you got another guy, if you have a bro or a boyfriend,
Oh.
then you're going in that way. Doc Antle is right there for you.
It's true.
Doc Antle and Joe Exotic, two Tiger Kings.
Or
Or
Carol
his-
Baskin and her cuck husband on a leash.
I'm gonna be your husband. I'm gonna be your husband. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, yeah.
That's a good costume.
So that's number one on my list. Here's number 2, and this is really personal bias here because I love the outfits on this TV show, and we just had the hat discussion. But obviously, I'd love to pull off a John Dutton Yellowstone fit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with this one, and I've gone down this road many times, is that I'm pretty confident in pulling off a very badass John Dutton costume, but you are going to be explaining who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I had mentioned that I wanted to go as Rip and then Sally go as Beth because she's already got the red hair, and I was like, this could work.
That's great. Yep.
But so many people still haven't seen the show because it was on fucking Paramount, and now you have to pay $20 for a season. That it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna be explaining to people that I'm Rip and I'm not just some like bootleg cowboy.
Yeah,
and I also don't look as manly as him.
That brings up something that I remind people of every year around this time, that if your costume needs a name tag, your costume stinks.
It's no costume.
Mm-mm.
Fair?
I mean, yes, for the most part. I've done costumes that I thought were awesome and that I loved, and
People didn't get it.
nailed it, and people didn't get it, and I had to explain. And it's not, I don't think my costume sucked. It's just it wasn't the best choice because people had to ask. I had to tell them. It's you don't want to have to explain the joke. So to that end, it's not a top tier costume if you have to explain it.
Well, and if you're in Austin, Texas, and you walk into somewhere wearing a Dutton costume, people might just be like, "Why didn't you dress up?" Like, it's not that out of the realm for someone just to dress just like him.
No one dresses like John Dutton around Austin.
I don't know.
He's got too much Yellowstone swag for this town.
You want to know something funny about the name tag thing? I knew I had like this controversial tweet, and you know who responded to it in 2016, saying sometimes name tags are crucial? Intern Klein.
Oh,
man. Klein, come on.
People
dog.
got mad. Just said, "Hey, if your costume requires a name tag, it's probably not a good costume." And Intern Klein, you probably knew him in 2016. I probably knew of him. I do like that he clapped back. He did the him and his boys did the Anchorman thing, which that always plays. I think that's a fun one, but that's really funny.
They didn't do name tags, though, did they?
One of them did. The guy who won is Baxter. As if people wouldn't be able to tell that the guy who's
the
a dog. Yeah, like we're familiar with the dog.
Was it a name tag or was it a dog collar? Because that's different.
It's a hybrid.
Okay.
It's okay.
And that's one thing that I guess you could do with John Dutton. You could get some type of like the Kevlar vest underneath your dope ass Western puffer that has like, what is it, like Bureau of.
Oh yeah, the livestock.
Whatever the livestock is
Yeah.
thing, and that's like, because for that type of costume, you need those little hints at like what it is,
Sure.
to kind of alleviate the, what that's
Yeah,
cool.
I
But
just
what
don't
are
know if
you?
this a popular enough show.
I mean, so
Maybe
this
it
most
is.
recent season was a big hit, but it was like a big hit for a cable TV show,
Yeah.
not like 25 million people watching Sunday Night Football big.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. But definitely it would be cool. So
it's on my radar.
It's on the list. Okay. Skate culture, very big in 2020. All the late 90s, early 2000s stuff is back. I don't know if you know this, but a very popular video game was also re-released. So Tony Hawk is on my list.
He knows.
Dude,
This guy knows. He's
every
good.
night your boy's fingers are just moving.
If you are trying to get off some airwalks, and like some baggy cargos, dude, be Bob Burnquist,
Dave,
Tony
you
Hawk.
should be Chad Muska.
Bring back
What
the
was Bucky last?
the heroes of skating.
I like that a lot.
Dude, Dave, I think you could pull off a Chad Muska look.
You talk about having to explain your costume. Chad Muska is like a costume for like 15 people.
Yeah, but like me and Brady would love it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you should do it for. Like,
What about Bam Margera?
you just got to wear the what's the like Icelandic rock band
Yeah, him.
that they loved.
Yeah.
They always go.
Him.
Was it?
Yeah.
What, Dave? Do you want to sing?
I don't have the hair for Bam Margera. I'd rather go as Ryan Dunn. Rest in peace.
We all told Dylan that we were going to go as the guys from. We were going to be male strippers, and we're actually going as skaters. We made Dylan go as Epstein.
All right, this is another very very timely one. I pulled this one off of a list from New York Magazine. It's specifically for Will to think about. Connell from Normal People.
See, that is an explanation
on.
through the roof.
Come on.
I haven't finished that series yet because it's so emotionally taxing that I can only handle an episode like in the right mindset.
It took us months to get through those 12 episodes because it is so like.
It sucks the life out of you.
It does. It really does.
There was one episode where Sally just looked over at me and I was just sobbing and she was like, "What is wrong with you?" I was like, "I don't know. Like this just hit me in a weird place."
It is. I thought it was really, really random that they put that on the list, but at the same time, I was like, well, I could see like you just wear like the short ass rugby shorts and like a washed out tee and a silver chain, and boom, you got it.
Yeah, I might already have that.
Okay, Black Panther. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman.
That's gonna be big.
I think that'll be a big one.
Hard to pull off though. With that's a pretty substantial get up he has.
Yeah. You would. This is a costume that you would have to like. You're buying the the Party City version and.
True.
Yeah, you're not gonna look like T'Challa. I'll tell you that much. But I do expect it'll be a popular one.
Ooh, I just saw one that would play heavy in the Austin, Texas region. Sideline Matthew McConaughey.
Okay.
Sideline Texas game. So like
That
you could either
leather
go
jacket that he wears all
jacket.
the time.
Oh yeah, that brown leather, the Fight Club looking jacket, or tucked in T-shirt because he's a big tucked in
Yeah,
T guy.
yeah, uh-huh.
Just UT football tucked in, like some Levi's that are kind of tight.
That vintage burnt orange one with the old school Bevo on it that
Yep.
he wears a lot. Yeah.
God,
And then you have to do your hook 'em like this.
why does he
I
do it?
hate
so
the hook 'em like that. I hate the hook 'em like that.
I do too.
Like turn it around, dude.
Okay, let's talk about it's 2020. I wanted to throw out some 20th anniversary options for you.
Okay.
An all-time classic of a Halloween costume, especially for bros looking to get fits off. It's the 20th year anniversary of American Psycho, Patrick Bateman.
Mm-hmm.
This movie was from 2000.
Mm-hmm.
All-timer. If you just want to slick your hair back, throw on a suit, and get the plastic raincoat, boom, you're done.
Fake axe.
That sets it up sets it
Or
off another notch.
If you're a
that's a
real
good
hot
one.
boy, go in the tighty whities
Yeah.
with the tennis shoes and the chainsaw. Dylan, you're a
And
chainsaw
the,
guy.
and the eye mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I got some grinding to do on the Peloton between now and the end of the month, but
You need to lose. He was like 6% body fat in that movie.
I wake up every morning at 6:15 a.m. and do a 65-minute ride on my Peloton.
Yep.
Then I wash my face with Hawthorne.
And I go record my podcast.
I go
Dude, Bateman does have a podcast in 2020.
100%. No,
It's a finance podcast that no one listens to.
Bret Easton Ellis actually wrote like what a modern day version of Patrick Bateman would be. And it's essentially a Silicon Valley bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no longer New York. He lives in Silicon Valley, and he's not wrong.
What's the dude from Leftovers?
Justin Thoreau?
That would be my
Oh, yeah,
character,
yeah.
just because of the hairline. His hairline back in American Psycho days, he had the power slick, but it was
Yeah.
such a power alleys were huge.
Yes.
That would
Yeah.
be me.
It's crazy that he's in that film. Very random.
And he looks better now.
Did you also know that Justin Thoreau co-wrote Zoolander? With
Tropic Thunder.
With Ben Stiller?
And Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not wild. It is the 20th anniversary of the Dude, You're Getting Adele commercials. Those started in 2000.
Randy.
Randy's gonna go as that.
Oh,
Randy
no.
loves Dell.
Randy loves him Adele.
Dude, you're getting Adele.
Oh, God.
You just scream
What
that
an
at
annoying
everybody.
campaign that was.
Dude, come on.
All right.
You wanted Adele though.
Don Vito's getting a down.
Yeah, you thought he was getting a mag.
All right,
Adele.
I kind of had to reach here, but it's the 20th anniversary of Scary Movie.
Okay.
It's also the 20th anniversary of Scream 3. You combine those two, you get to wear the Scream mask and do the what's up?
Yeah.
Yep.
Whoa there.
That always played. That played in 2000 so hard.
Oh, my God. How old is that actual, like the original commercial, the What's Up guys?
Probably about just
around
over
the
20
same
years.
time?
It's probably right at those probably were in like
yeah.
99.
Oh,
Should
man.
we start opening every episode of just us doing that for 5 minutes?
What was that?
And that leads me into this next piece. Look, this is the year for Halloween costumes that feature masks. Right?
True.
Get your mask on. Get your Halloween costume on while also getting your mask on. So that starts with the Scream one. Here we go. You can also be. This is a great year for horny nurse and horny doctor.
Yes. COVID compliant.
COVID compliant.
Yes.
Get your surgical mask on, maybe even a shield on your face, but then just like very scantily clad, both of you. Nice little horny costume, couple's costume.
I'm thinking about being guy who wears mask like over his chin for like whatever reason. Like, dude, you're not wearing that right. Like, it's got to cover your mouth and your nose.
Of course, the immortal Bane.
Ooh.
Again, any costume that allows you to do a voice, whether it's the what's that?
Someone's doing COVID Trump for sure.
Probably.
Oh, election costumes are gonna
Now,
be a thing.
here's a question that I have for you guys. Can you, in good taste, be COVID? Or is it too insensitive because 200,000 people have died?
I think it's too insensitive.
I
You
think it, I
shouldn't.
think it plays.
Can you be like
But
the
it
big
will be
spiky
dumb.
ball? You know
Yeah.
what the COVID thing looks like?
I think because that's like, you're making fun.
I think you're
going
gonna
to
see some of those.
That's not that hard to make.
I don't know. I think it can play.
Yeah, it
And-
kind of depends on how you handle it, though. You can't be like walking around the party like coughing on people and shit.
In the right environment, it can play.
I feel like this
at-
is
at
very
the
much
bar,
I feel like it's very much a college kid costume.
Yeah, if you're 21 and at a bar, no one's gonna think anything.
Right,
Of it. It's just
right.
funny. But if
Yeah.
you're at like an adult party,
Yeah, and like
People-
somebody's parents died.
yeah, it's
Right.
like, dude, man, fuck you, get out.
yeah, what the fuck, man?
Dude, did y'all see Clayton's costume when it's COVID? It was so sick. COVID killed my great grandpa. That's so good. You nailed it, dude.
Yeah, some situations it's probably not a good idea.
The spin from that one, which you can definitely do, this requires more creativity. I don't have great ideas, but if you can figure out a way to be the year 2020, I feel like
Trash
that's
can.
what's that?
Trash can.
Yeah, I definitely think you're going to see some like I'm 2020 costumes out there from some creative people.
Yeah,
I'm
Don't
just
know
not
how.
creative when it
Don't know
comes to
how.
this
Yeah,
stuff.
it would.
I don't know how you'd pull it off, but like somebody's going to like have some like murder hornets on their shoulder and then like be sick from COVID with then have their mask on and then they're I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say a Kobe time, but that's a little too much.
Oh,
wow.
really,
Okay,
dude?
Dylan.
It's been a shit year. That's
Unbelievable.
what started everything, man.
It
Just
really is what started
did,
everything.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
just like,
it
really?
is.
It's been a shit.
This is what we're
shit
doing
year.
in January?
Yeah.
Do you think someone will go as Epstein?
No.
I will not be going as Epstein, but I think that is one in previous years where that's like the edgy.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna do murdered Epstein, like messed up neck or
I'm
something.
picturing the Epstein costume though, and doesn't he just kind of like look like Steve Jobs? Like with I feel like he's always wearing like the black turtleneck,
Well,
that type of stuff.
He wears
Harvard
like,
sweatshirts.
yeah,
like
he
crew
wears
necks,
sweatshirts for colleges
Okay.
that he like clearly never went to.
Okay.
but he was tied to
Oh.
Alan Dershowitz, Harvard. Look into it.
A couple more political ones to have on your radar. Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
I think people are gonna be. I think that could be a popular one.
Okay.
Yep. And then Dr. Fauci.
Oh, I didn't think about Fauci.
Make it a couple's costume.
Fauci man.
Dr. Burks as well. We talk in style. Very easy to be Dr. Burks. You just need an Hermes scarf around your neck
I like that.
and like your hair pulled back and boom, you're Dr. Burks.
Man, I was thinking about going as Kushner this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a Kush.
Sick.
Yeah, just swagged out in a $4,000 suit.
I got a few more for masks. Any of the ninja characters from Mortal Kombat. You got Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and Reptile.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Can we go
Yep.
to the Three Ninjas? You ever watch that?
Dude, I love that.
I love that movie.
Rather go with Surf Ninjas.
Watch out for my nose, dude. It's bad news already.
I can't believe you've seen this movie.
Oh,
How
I used to
have you
watch
seen
it a
that?
lot when I was
It was
a
the
kid.
one movie that I loved that my parents never bought for me. So like I would always have to watch it at a buddy's house. It's not like they wouldn't. There was no reason behind it, but I just always wanted to see it.
Dude, it's so
I
tight.
loved it.
They just kicked ass, man.
Yeah, they were sweet.
And
yeah, you had all the candy. So I mean, candy, dog.
looks like that wraps it up. That's my list.
That gives us a lot to work with.
Yeah.
Very
So
inspirational.
I had one in mind, and I think I told y'all this in the group text, but it would require me to shave the stash, and I'm not ready to part ways.
What is it?
It's NFL fan Rob Lowe,
Yeah.
where he's just in the stands, just wearing the NFL hat, the generic
just with the
hat,
chiseled jawline. Just
just rooting for a good game. Just hope both teams play hard.
So dumb.
What was the story about? Why did he have that hat?
Dude,
on?
he loves all the
He
players.
just loves NFL football.
It's just like, dude, it's a treat to be here to watch these two teams compete.
He looks like a
Please
cop.
check out 911 Lone Star.
Straight up looks like a cop. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, dude, how sketchy are you? He does have a jawline on him.
Will, you could
He's
be a
hot.
good Ted Lasso.
Dude, finished.
That's a good
Finished
one.
it last night, man.
No spoilers. I got one more episode.
Finished it last night. Cried
Yeah.
twice.
Did you finish Yellowstone
No,
or caught up on Yellowstone?
I'm in season 3, mid-season 3.
Okay.
Yeah, if you haven't started Ted Lasso and you just want to feel good and fuzzy, I highly recommend doing it.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to hate it. I will say the finale episode of the season has an absolutely absurd scene that kind of ruined the episode for me a little bit, and I was like, well, that's a little much, but okay. But other than that, great initial season.
Yeah. So, any other ideas here before we wrap this segi up?
No,
I think
that
you
gives
nailed
us
it.
a lot, man.
Good.
You're ahead of the curve on Halloween stuff.
Well, now's the time to start thinking about it, you know?
Yeah.
It's October 7th. A lot of the stuff that you end up needing to order for Halloween costumes takes like 2 weeks to get here.
Mhm.
It's not just all easily available on...
Oh, you got to prepare earlier
Amazon
this year than
Prime.
any year.
Hey,
You know.
if you haven't already started planning your Halloween giveaways and party options, it's too late.
It's way too late.
Way too late.
Far too late.
All right, thanks again to Circling Back for having me on this morning. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, Phil will be back with us. We've got some more guests coming up. I think that was very popular to have somebody on to kind of help talk about various brands and style and get a third perspective in here. So a lot more great stuff to look forward to from Club Cool. Thanks to Bombas. Once again, go check them out if you need new socks. Bombas.com/cool, 20% off your first purchase. If you don't happen to need any socks, you can support the podcast directly. Patreon.com/clubcool. And we will see you next week. Bye-bye.